welcome, Zoya, welcome. So basically, in this wonderful all signs reading, this will be for an all signs. This will be for a all signs reading for earth signs, air signs, water signs, fire signs. That's how it goes for all zodiac signs. But it's gonna be how it goes. It's gonna be for July 24th to July 26th of 2026 of this year. So this is gonna be how it goes in that way, because it's gonna be how it's gonna be. There's gonna be no timestamps in this wonderful reading, because about this entire video. So whatever happens in that way, and you think to yourself, it's like, okay, well, this is how it goes in that way. No matter of fact, it's gonna be very wonderful, but that's how it's gonna be in that way of determining what's going to be going on. So I'm gonna go from Aries right through Pisces. But that's how it goes in that way. So if you are, knowing about how you're going to recommend how this rating is going to go, this is how it's going to be in that way. And the way how this is, no matter how it is, this is the way it's going to be. So, the further ado, without any hesitation, is that this will be an all signs reading. And, whatever happens. This is how it goes. I will try to see how it's going to be in this all signs reading, but you're going to see what's going on, right? So, whatever happens, but I guarantee you this is a wonderful, how it's going to be in that expense of how it is in that way. So, we're going to see what's going on for you, Aries. But there's going to be an all signs reading for every all signs, and this is how it goes in that way. So, this is going to be an Aries reading, and it's going to be for Aries. So, this is for you. So, Aries rising, I'm going to look at that. But the way this is, I don't want to read the back of it, but there's lots of things that are going on in this reading here. So, I'm just going to show you what the Aries is. I'll show you how it's going to be. So, this is going to be what's going on for you, Aries, is that you have the 10 of Swords is upright, and you have the 2 on separate. You're planning on something. So, you have conclusions, you want to plan on something, but Aries, you need to understand. You need to have your own complications, you're going to have your own ways of how it goes, but you need to understand it. You need to have a good way of having your own conductor of what's going on. So that's how it's going to be. So whether you're making decisions and what's happening, that's how it goes in that way, right? You have to have your own balance. By the way, this is how it goes in that way. Okay, so that's how it is. So we're going to figure out what's going on, but this is going to be how it's going to be in the way how it is. So here we go. So the way for you, Aries, we have basically the 8 cups separate. It does represent entertainment here. You might do it within a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. That's how it goes. So the way how this is, in that way, it's very challenging in many ways, because you have to understand what's happening in that way. But that's how it's going to be. So whether you think to yourself, like, okay, well, this is how it goes, this is the way it works, yes, because this is the way it is. So, let's see what's going on. So, go from the middle to left, middle to right. So, you have the 9 wands is upright, there's fear. Death cards upright, there's ending, because you might be focused on the Scorpio. Just over you're telling the truth, you might be focused on Libra. 9 wands upright, there's immaturity. Exactly, so whenever you look at that, that's how it goes in that way. What's on the right side, you have the 6 swords reversed, there's no movement. 9 pentacles reversed, you're feeling uncomfortable. 6 wands reversed, there's no celebration. 2 pentacles you're balancing 2 things at once. Exactly. So you're focusing on your own definition. You need to focus on whatever you're focusing on, because you're balancing 2 things at once. You might be doing it in a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, Gemini, Libra, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Libra. Like, there are things that you need to understand, but overall, this is how it goes in that way. So, the universe is going to say something, and it says the Queen wants to there's charisma. Yeah, use your charisma, Aries, because that's how you can do. And no matter how it goes in that wonderful outcome, you need to understand that. You need to figure out about your wants, your needs, or that's how it goes. And when you do it, that's how you need to understand that to come back your own outcome. And when you use your own charisma, that's what it's going to be, right? So no matter how it goes, Aries, in that way, you need to focus on it. You need to focus about the here and now of this whole entire equation, no matter how it goes, right? So no doubt of how it is, right? So you have to go and do what you can, Aries, and you need to make the best of it. Yes, you might be feeling like you're uncomfortable, but you need to figure out why you're feeling uncomfortable. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. Okay, Aries. The next one is Leo. Leo from a rising sign, and this is how it goes in that way. Okay, so let's see what's going on for you, Leo. So let's see what's going on for you, Leo. July 24th to July 26th of 2026. So let's see what's going on. Let's see. So let's see. I'm going to show you, and it says that you have the Four of Pentacles already because you may be looking for money, and Two Wands already you want to plan on something. Aries, Leo, you need to figure out what you're going through in that way, whether you're going to have your own pressure point, maybe you're going to look for money, maybe you're going to do that, but that's how it's going to be. Okay, so what it might be doing in Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, that's what it's going to be, but you need to understand that. Okay, so let's see what's happening. And one more. So yeah, the King Wands is upright. It represents leadership, and Leo, that's fine. Whenever you figure out that you want leadership, you want to do that, that's how it goes. But you need to understand about, okay, this is what I need to do, this is the way it works, this is the way it stands, and that's how it is. So whether you have the time place of that, that's how it goes in that perfection of how it is, right? So whether you decide that everything's fine, yes, but you need to have your own leadership, and that's how it goes, Leo, because that's what it is. And let's see. So I'm going to see what's happening for a small reading for Leo. A small reading. So let's see. So going from the middle to left, middle to right. And one more. So the 9 of Wands is no fear. Followed with 2 Pentacles Earth, you're unbalanced. 6 of Wands Sword, there's celebration. Magician's Sword, you want skill. Star Sword, there's inspiration. Exactly. So you want to be who you are. You want skill. You want things to happen. But when you're unbalanced, Leo, that's how it goes. So it's like, why are you feeling unbalanced, right? So that's what it seems to be in that way. Let's wait in the middle and the right side, please. 3 Pentacles Earth is no excitement. 10 Cups Earth, there's incompletion. 8 Cups Earth, there's satisfactory. 3 Wands Earth, there's communication. Yeah, because you want to communicate. No matter how it goes, and you want to communicate, that's what it's going to be. And when you do it, it's like, alright, everything's going to be fine, but is it going to be a welcoming sight? Is it going to be that way of, alright, this is a wonderful standoff, maybe I'm doing something right? Yes, but that necessarily, whether things to be good or bad, you have to look at it in that perspective, right? That's what it is in that way, right? So let's see what the universe is saying here. see what the universe is going to say. Yeah, Temperance is upright. Yeah, it represents healing. So whether if you're healing about something in that way, you're focusing about healing. Healing is a wonderful priority. Maybe you're healing about your wealth, or you're healing about your own healthy of the way how it goes. Because you're focusing on your own health. That's how it goes. By the way, this is, if you focus on that, if you focus about, try to be happy, try to understand, that's how it goes. But when you focus about being unbalanced, maybe things are not going as right, that's how it works. And you need to understand that, because you have to understand to build a time and a half, right? So whether if you work on something, let's say, for example, 9 o'clock a.m. and you're working on something, then in the next half hour at 9:30 a.m. you take a break, right? So you have to involve of your own energy, and you need to understand about building of healing. That's what it's going to be, okay? So you focus on that, Leo. All right? So that's how it goes. That's how it's going to be, I guess. Next one. Venus in Sagittarius. It's for you. Let's see what's going on for you, Sagittarius. So let's see. So basically, what you're telling me is that you're not using your high priestess as an inner voice, and the world reverse, there's incompletion. Huh, that's very interesting. So when something that is not working for you, that is not good, right? So when you look at that, in that point of view, Sagittarius, you need to be bold, you need to be beautiful, you need to be who you are, but you're going to see it, what's going on, right? So when you focus on that, you focus what's happening to be incomplete, right? And that's the way how it works, okay? So let's see what's happening. Yeah, the Queen Wands is over. There's charisma. Yeah, because you're focusing on your charisma, Sagittarius, and that's how it is. All right. So when you focus on that, you focus about building that charisma, and no matter how it goes, that's what's going to happen. So you might be doing with another Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius in that way. Okay. So we're going from the middle. I'm going from the middle to the right, middle to the left. A little bit different. Sagittarius, there's no delusion. Aquarius, there's no entertainment. Aquarius, there's romance. Aquarius, there's leadership. Pentacles, you're focusing on your career. Exactly. You're focusing on your career. And when you're focused on that, no matter if you have a career or not, you're trying to focus on what's going on, right? If you're focusing about romance, if you're focusing about leadership, that's how it's going to be, right? So Sagittarius, I understand what you're going through in that way. Now let me go from the middle to the left side. Fool separate, there's change. Sagittarius, there's no past. Queen Sagittarius, there's no empathy. Empress separate, there's no nourishment. Nine Pentacles, there's no trust. Exactly. Queen Sagittarius, there's no independence. Sagittarius, there's no healing. Two Cups reverse is no relationships or friendships. Interesting. Just reverse is not telling the truth. You're lying about something. Just reverse is no endings. Nine Cups reverse, Nine Wands reverse is only immaturity. Four Pentacles are you want prosperity about money. Exactly. So no matter if you face that in that way and you focus about what's happening, this is a way of knowing what to do, Sagittarius. And no matter how you're going to face it in that way, you think to yourself, alright, enough is enough, I can't do anymore. But the way this is, that's what you're acting. You're acting that you want to have romance, you want respect, you want things to be happening. And alright, fine. But the way of this is, no matter how you're going to place it, if you're dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, that's how it is. You might be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Okay? So no matter how it goes, Sagittarius, you need to understand. Okay? And what the universe is saying, let's see. Queen of Swords says, alright, you're showing your independence. Exactly. So the universe is saying for you, Sagittarius, is that you're showing your independence. Okay? I know what independence is. It's like you want to do your own things, and that's fine. You're focusing about your own independence, Sagittarius, and when you do it, you focus on that. You focus about what's happening in that way, and you focus on that, because no matter how you're going to do that, that's how it goes, and that's very liable, and you need to understand that, right? So this is not a transaction. This is not the way how it's going to be, but you have to focus on the here and now of this wonderful way, right? So you have to be respectful. You have to know that. So if you're showing your independence, go for it, and that's how it's going to be, and you need to focus on that, Sarah. All right. So you need to understand that. So if you're focusing on another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, that's how it's going to be, and when you do it, Sagittarius, that's how it's going to go along in that way. Okay. So use your independence. So let's see. Remember that all these all zodiac signs, just to let everybody know that these won't be time-stamped, and that means that I won't do that on the timestamp thing. So on this video, because I don't know how to do it. But the way this is, that's how it's gonna be. Next one is Capricorn. Is Mercury in Capricorn. So this is what Capricorn is. Alright, so let's see what's going on for you, Capricorn. So now work on, so I worked on fire signs, zodiac signs, now I'm working on the earth signs, then air signs, and then water signs. So let's see what's going on for you, Capricorn. Let's see. So, let's see. So Capricorn, I noticed that you're not being the devil. You're not acting like you're gonna have violence, and that's how it goes. And the Hermit, you already have a soulmate. So the way of this is, no matter how it is, that's what is going to happen, Capricorn, because that's how it's going to be. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Let's see. And let's see. And one more. So the magician reverse, you have no skill. Okay, that's obvious. But let's see what's happening with the Magician. Let's see. So going from the middle to the right, middle to left. Queen Pentacles reverse is on prospects. Knight Cups over, there's fulfillment. Taurus over, there's transformation. Two Swords reverse, you already know which path you're going to take. Eight Pentacles over, you want to have perfection. Alright, so, everything is all perfect. Alright, I complete that. But the way this is, that's going to happen in that way. Now, let's go from the middle to the left side, please. King Cups is over, you want support. Three Cups reverse is no celebration. High Priest reverse is no inner voice. Five Swords reverse is that there's no conflict. Four Swords reverse is no resting. Five Cups reverse is no grief. Two reverse is no progress. Those are where there's obsessive addictions. Exactly. So, no matter if you're focusing on another Capricorn, that's what it's going to be. But the way this is, if you're focusing on having, what's going on in your general speaking, it's like you need to understand that. You need to build yourself as, okay, exactly what I'm doing right, but I'm doing it wrong. So no matter how it goes, and you're focusing on the here and now with this wonderful equation, that's how it's going to be, right? So you're focused on that way and having that own stability of knowing what to do, okay? Now, let's see what the universe is going to say here. Let's see. And the universe is saying the moon, which means misrotations. Exactly. So that means that the misrotations is like you're affected by the moon, Capricorn. And no matter if you are basically saying that you're affected by the moon, what I mean by that is that you're focusing on their moon energy, right? That's how it's going to be. So, Capricorn, I understand what you're going through, but that's what the universe is telling me, is that you're basically focused on the moon, and you have to focus on that. You're focused about the moon energy, what's happening, and you need to focus on that, Capricorn. Okay, so that's how it is, but if you take it for granted, that's what's going to happen in that way. Okay? Okay, on to the next one. Taurus. So let's see. Let's see what's happening with you, Taurus. Let's see. And basically you have the Hermit reverse, you already have a soulmate, and the 6 1 reverse, you're not celebrating. So between these two cards at the bottom of the deck, you pay attention to what you're going through, no matter if you're going to have it or not. But what this is, no matter if you have a soulmate or you're not going to have a soulmate, or you have a celebration or you're not going to celebrate, these two are different words, but they can be an ultimate way of considering of how it is, right? So that's what it's going to be, okay? Now, let's see what's going on. And so Taurus has the Hermit card, and the Hermit card represents Libra, and it does represent where it could represent like you're looking for a soulmate, but you're waiting, and when you keep on waiting, that's how it goes. So no matter how you're going to face it in that reality, it's like you understand what's going on. So let's see what this reading is. I'm going from the middle to the right, middle to left. Nine Pentacles, you want trust. Empress, you want nourishment. Queen of Cups, you want empathy. Six of Cups, you're focused on the past. Four of Yours, there's no change. Four of Wands, there's celebration. Exactly. So no matter if you're going to celebrate, you're focusing on two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. If you're focusing on the past, that's how it's not going to be. But when you focus on the past, it's going to get very crazy sometimes, right? That's a good word to say. But what this is, if you're focusing on the past, leave the past alone. But if you keep on doing it every single time, that's going to be in your own mind. Everything what you're doing, that's how it is. Let's between the middle and the left side, please. Page 1, sorry, there's basically invention. 10 of Swords, there's conclusions. 4 of Cups, there's no distraction. King of Swords, there's knowledge. Exactly. So Taurus, you know that you have the ability to have knowledge. Okay? That's how it's going to be. Now, if you focus on celebration, empathy, nourishment, past, whatever it is, you're focusing on that. You're focusing on conclusions. You're focusing how it's going to be. That's what it is. And when you focus on that, you focus. Right? So let's see what the universe is going to say here. And the universe is saying the 8 Cups is upright. There's introspection. So it does represent observation, but that's how it's going to be. And when you focus on having the observation, you're going to observe. And observing is a wonderful kind, because if you're observing, you are basically evolving of observe. And that means that you're basically observing somebody, no matter if it's a man or woman, but you're observing what's going to happen. So whether you are in a relationship or not, Taurus, you have to focus on what's going to be happening, and that's how it is. Okay, so you can see it in that way. So in that way, you think, okay, everything's going to be fine. Yes. But you have to focus on that. You have to focus about the ability to matter what's going on in that perfection, right? So if you think that everything's all good, that's how it's going to be in that way. So you focus on that, Taurus, okay? So the universe is saying, like, use your observation. So you need to focus on that. Next one is Virgo. So let's see what's going on for you, Virgo. Let's see. And let's see. Let's see what's going on. And so Virgo, it means that you have the Wheel of Fortune, or you want to have good luck. and the 5 wands shows you have no chaos. Having good luck is a wonderful kind. That's how it goes, Virgo. But the way this is, no matter if you have no chaos, don't look for that. So if you want to have good luck, just understand that, okay? So let's see what's going on. Let's see. And we have the King of Cups is up where you want support. Exactly. So if you're focusing on having support, you have to have that, right? You want that support, Virgo, and that's fine. But the way this is, if you're focusing about Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, that's how it goes, okay? Excuse me about that. But the way this is, no matter how you're going to be facing it in that own reality, that's how it is. So while I'm having my hauls here, like I say, I don't smoke. I don't do that. But I have this irritated cough, just to let everybody know. Anyway, back to my own skit here, is that Virgo needs to have support. So that's how it's going to happen. Now, I'm going to clarify, love that word, I'm going to clarify between the middle and the right, middle to left. Nine of Pentacles first, you have no trust. For one first, there's no celebration. Fool is over, there's change. Six of Cups first, there's no past. Queen of Cups first, there's no empathy. Empress first, there's no nourishment. Four of Cups first, you want distraction. Exactly. You want to have distraction because you want change. Alright. That's fine. So, whether you're not focused on the past, that's great. But when you have no trust, that's interesting. When you have no trust, interesting. So what's between the middle and the left side, please? King of Swords first is no knowledge. 10 of Swords first is no conclusions. Page 1 first is no prospects. 8 of Swords first is no anxiety. Empress first, there's structure. 8 1 first is no speed. 7 Swords first, there's no deceit. The Strength card story, there's bravery. Yeah, because you're focusing on another Leo as a fire sign. So you're focusing on having bravery and having a distraction. You know, that's what's going to be. Now, if you focus on those ways, you focus on that. You focus about the here and now, and you're focusing about having distraction. If you're having bravery, that's fine. But the way this is, in that way, you go with the flow, right? Good word to say. And that's what's going to be, okay? Now let's see what this universe is saying. The universe is saying the Five of Cups is upright. There's grief. Exactly. So whether you're focusing about having grief and you're grieving about something, if you're grieving about loss, or if you're grieving about you had a friend and then you lose a friend, or that's how it is. And you focus on that, no matter if you're not focusing about the past and you want distraction, you want bravery, and you think that, oh, I need this. That's what's going to be. That's going to do exactly what you're told to do, and you have to be responsible of how you're feeling, right? So if you have grief, grieving is a one part, but you need to figure out that. You need to say that, because you're not saying, well, with me, I don't want to grieve anymore. That's not right. That's not part of me. Maybe you're grieving because you basically have no trust. Maybe you have grief about that, right? So if you say that as a wonderful feeling that you're going through, Virgo, that's how it is. And you focus on that, right? That's what the universe is saying, okay? Just go with the flow. Okay, on to the next one. Mercury in Aquarius. So let's see what's going for you, Aquarius. Let's see. Now let's see. Let's see what's going on for you, Aquarius. And you have the 2 wands is already you want planning, and the Fool is already you want change. Exactly. So you want planning and you want change. Very obviously, if you think about it. Okay, Aquarius, I understand that, but it's very obvious. So if you're thinking about, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, that's a wonderful feeling. But if you're focusing on change, that's how it's going to be. Okay? So let's see what's going to be happening for Aquarius. Let's see. Aquarius has the Sun card, and that means a positivity. So whether you represent Leo as a fire sign, you basically want positivity. Alright, Aquarius, that's fine. But the way this is, if you focus on positivity, you are doing exactly what you want, and you have to stay positive as much as you can. Yes, maybe things are not going as planned. Maybe you're thinking that this is not my, my own practice, whatever it is. You're focused on what's happening. You want to focus on positivity. You focus on that. Because the way of this is, you focus on that, right? It's like, alright, I need positivity. That's what you want in your own life. And that's how it is. Okay? So, if you focus on that, and you focus on the way it's going to happen, you need to focus on that. Okay? So, let's see what's going on. So, going from the middle to the right, middle to left. 5 Cups, you want grief. 4 of Swords, you want resting and healing. 5 Pentacles, you want prosperity about money. 7 Cups, you want a delusion. 7 Pentacles, you already have a career. King 1 Swords is no passion or leadership. 9 Cups, is no romance. 8 Cups is where you want an observation. 5 Swords is where you want conflict. See what I mean, Aquarius? If you have the ability to have conflict, and you're resting, and you have a delusion, and you have observed, and you want grief, that's what's going to happen. Because you need to focus on staying positive. This is not positivity. This is not. But if you focus on that, that's what's going to remain in that society. And you have to get with it. What's between the middle and the left side, please? King Cups first, there's no support. High Priestess, you're using your voice. 3 Cups, you want celebration. 3 Wands first is no communication. Right? Because you want to cut off the communication. 8 Cups first, this is unsatisfactory. 4 Cups first is no celebrate. There's no destruction. Empress, you want nourishment. And Queen Cups, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's 2 sides of the story here. You focus about having the ability to have empathy. There's 2 sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. You decide, Aquarius. You need to focus on that. You have to focus about what's happening, and you focus on that. You focus on your own dignity, your own self-respect. That's how it is. But if you focus about having the ability, and you're cutting off the conversation, you have no conversation, because you're cutting off that, you want conflict, things are not going as planned, Aquarius. And if you act like this, and you're saying, I want to celebrate, I want to do this, why are you having conflict? Why are you having empathy? Why are you having grief? Why you are having no conversation, like no communication. I mean, why are you doing that? So you need to focus on that ability, right? And that's what I'm going to say. But the universe, let me see what the universe is going to say. The universe is saying it has reversed as though there's no observation, but the Nine of Pentacles are you're feeling comfortable. Alright, well, the way how this is, if you're not focusing about observation, you're focusing about having comfort. Alright, fine. If you are being comfortable, Aquarius, you focus on it. You focus about having to be comfortable no matter how it works, right? If you're just going to act like this, and you're saying, it's not my fault, or I'm going to do this, alright, that's fine. But if you focus on that, if you focus about being comfortable, you need to act like that. You need to okay, everything's fine now. But is it really? You decide, Aquarius. You decide, okay? That's what the universe is saying. So, you need to focus on that. And let's see. Next one is Gemini. Gemini rising. Let's see what's going on for you, Gemini. Let's see. We're almost done with this whole sign reading. Almost. Let's see what's going on. Alright, so you have the King of Pentacles is alright, you want prosperity about money. And the Ace of Pentacles are you want prosperity about money. So if you focus on that, Gemini, if you focus in either Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, that's what you want. But if you're focusing about prosperity about money and you want to take care of it, alright. But let's see what's going on for you, Gemini. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Alright. And yeah, the King of Swords here is there's no knowledge. Alright. Seems to be very interesting. So when you have no knowledge here, Gemini, I understand that. But let me focus on that. Okay? No matter if you have knowledge or not. It all depends what's going to happen in this wonderful reading. Okay? So I'm going to see what's going on between the middle and the right. So you have the Six of Cups there, you want the past. Four of Pentacles here is not, you're not prosperous about money. Now you want somebody, there's immaturity. That's because somebody you want ending, so you're focusing on the Scorpio. Just so you want to tell the truth. Exactly. So if you want things to be happening, no matter how it goes, that's what it's going to happen. So, if you act like everything's fine, alright, but you're focusing on the past. If you focus on the past, it's going to be dreadful on you. It's going to be focusing like, why I need the past, why? This is not going to end, right? If you focus on the ability to have that, that's what it is. Let's see the middle and the left side, please. 4 years is no change. 4 1 is where you want celebration. 9 Pentacles is where you want trust. Exactly. So if you want to have celebration, if you want trust, you focus on that. You focus about telling the truth. You're focusing about what's going on. And you focus on that, Gemini. Because in this wonderful reading, you focus on that, right? You focus about the ability to get what you want. You focus on that. Because if you focus about having trust, having celebration, telling the truth, that's how it is. But if you're focusing about, being immaturity, acting like you're being immature, and then you're focusing on the past, that's what's going to happen, and that's what it's going to be. So, in many ways, you focus on that. Let's see what the universe is going to say here. So you have the Sense of Truth, you're having no deceit. Ace of Swords, there's no satisfactory. 2 of Swords is upright, you're in the crossroads. Now, I'll do it this way because this is just the universe. 10 of Swords is no healing. Moon reverse is no misrotations. King Pentacles reverse, there's no security. Queen Pentacles reverse, there's no stability. Dusk reverse, no endings. Six Cups reverse, there's no past. Sagittarius, there's inspiration. Exactly. So you're focusing about having inspiration. You're going to wish upon a star, and that's how it is, Gemini, because you're going to do that. And when you wish upon something, that's what it is, because that's what you want. So go for that. Go for it, because Gemini, that's what it is. Okay? And that's what the universe is telling me. Telling you, telling me, but obviously telling you. Okay? So you need to go for it. You need to do what you can, and you focus on that. Okay? So let's see. Next one is Libra. Libra rising. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on. What's going on for you, Libra? Let's see. One more. So you have the Strength card reverse. You're not being brave, and the 7 ones is already you're feeling resilience. Interesting. So between if you're feeling scared and that's how you're going to be feeling, Libra, that's what it is. If you're focusing about having resilience, that's what you're going to be. Maybe you're focusing on either Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius in that way. Okay. So let's see what's happening. And that would be the A1 reverse. There's no speed. Exactly. So when you have no speed, that's what it is. You're focusing about having no speed at all, because you're basically going slow. And that's how it is. It's like, why are you going slow? Well, because that's what the 8 wants is. You have no speed, right? And that's what you're going to be doing. So let's see what's going on. So I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. Swing careers is no bravery. I just said that. So being scared. 7 sorcery, you're feeling deceit. 8 wants to you want speed. The Emperor is no structure. 2 of Cups is already you want relationships and friendships. Exactly. Okay, so you want speed, that's what you want, but you're feeling deceit because everyone's deceiving you. So if you're feeling scared, that's what you're doing, right? That's what you're focusing on. Let's say in the middle and the left side, please. Taurus, you want healing. Queen Stars is where you want independence. Aries Stars is where you want anxiety. Exactly. So you're focusing about your emotion. You're focusing about having anxiety. Okay? Everyone goes through, the basic of anxiety, right? That's how it is. And when you focus on that, you focus about your healing, and that's what you want to do. You want to heal. Okay? That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to remain in that way. So let's see what the universe is going to say here. Key one is already you want passion. Yeah, because you want leadership. And leadership will go the right way in the right direction. And that's what you want, Libra. Because if you want leadership, if you want things to happen, that's what you're going to get. And that's how it's going to be. So you focus on your own leadership, and that's how it is. You focus on that. You focus about the here and the now, and you focus on that. Right? And that's how it is. So if you think, okay, I need to focus on leadership, that's what's going to happen. And yes, it is. So I guarantee you, that's what you're going to want, and you focus on that. Okay? And that's what the universe is saying. Next one is Cancer rising. So let's see what's going on for you, Cancer. Let's see. And one more. So you have the Nine of Pentacles where you want trust, and the Tower where you want transformation. Exactly. So Cancer, I understand what you're going through, but trust and transformation are they both go together, and it makes sense, right? And that's how it is. So if you focus on that, that's what you want. Okay. Now let's see what's going on. And let's see. You have the Judgment, is that right? You want action. Yeah, because you want to take action, Cancer. And that's fine. Action is a wonderful, wonderful way because you know what to do. And that's fine. So whether you have the basic needs to have action, that's what you want, Cancer. And that's how it is. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. That's going to happen. And I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. King Cups, you want support. 3 Cups, there's no celebration. High Priestess reverse is no inner voice. The word reverse is incompletion. Says the third story, you want movement. Exactly. So if you want movement and want support, that's how it is. But when you have incompletion, that's what's going to happen. Let's swing the middle and the left side, please. 10 1 story, you want burdens. 8 Pentacles reverse is no perfection. 5 of Wands story, there's chaos. Exactly, Cancer. I understand that. But you need to focus on what's happening around you. You focus about having movement, having support, having all these burdens, and then you have chaos, right? That's what you're going to be, and that's what you're going to take action on, Cancer, and that's how it is, okay? So what the universe is going to say here, let's see. The universe is going to say is that A cups is upright. You want to observe. Observation is a wonderful kind, right, Cancer? And that's what it is. Observation is you're going to observe, right? You're going to observe what you're doing. You're going to observe what you're going to get, what you get what you want. But that's what's going to be. And you focus about having the observation. It's like, wait a minute, why I'm feeling incomplete, right? Or why I have all these burdens, or why I'm having chaos. Well, because you're going to observe. Observe is a wonderful feeling, but that's what's going to happen. And that's what the universe is going to say, because that's what it is. And you focus on that, okay? Alright. Second to the last one, we have Scorpio rising. Let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio. Right, so let's see. And Scorpio will have, so we have the Chariot is where you want progress, and Justice is where you're taking action. Progress and action go together because that's what you want, Scorpio. Okay? And when you focus on that, you do. Right? So let's see. Let's see what's going on. And you have the E1 accelerate, you want speed. Exactly. Speed is a wonderful feeling, Scorpio. And when you focus on that, you want speed. Speed is a wonderful feeling, no matter how it goes. So when you want speed, that's how it is. So you focus on that. You focus on another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, and you focus on that. You focus on speed, right? And that's how it is. So let's see what the universe is saying. So for this reading, I'm going from the middle to left, middle to right. Wheel of Fortune reverse, you're having bad luck. Two of Swords is upright. You don't which path you're going to take, left or right. So Tower reverse is no transformation. 9 of Swords, you're feeling trauma. Exactly. 3 of Swords, yours no heartbreak. Queen 1 story, you want charisma. Exactly. 3rd story, you want to make decisions. Exactly, Scorpio. When you want to focus on having decisions, that's how it goes. But when you're having the trauma, when you're having charisma, when you're having bad luck, things are not going as planned. But when you do it, that's how it is. What's in the middle and the right side, please? 8 Swords, there's no anxiety. Queen Swords, you already have your independence. 10 of Swords is no healing. 9 of Wands, no immaturity. 4 Pentacles, you want prosperity about money. Exactly. So you focus on that. You focus about the ability to matter how it goes. Whether you're saying, alright, everything's fine, alright, That's how it is. And when you focus on that, you focus about having that prosperity about money, no matter how it works, right? So let me clarify this 4 of Pentacles here. 9 of Pentacles here, you have no trust. Page 1 is already you want, you want passion, you want prospects. 4 of Wands here is no celebration, Fool is already, there's change. You know, Ace 1 story, you want new beginnings. King of Swords first, no, there's no, King of Pentacles first, there's no prosperity about money. Judgment story, you're taking action. Exactly. So you want things to happen in that perfection. You want things to be good, you want it to be great, but, you know, over time, you need to think about it. And once you think about something, you go for it, right? So if you want to take action, if you want to take change, if you want to have new beginnings, fine. But when you have trauma, when you have charisma, when you have, making decisions, that's great. So you focus on that. You focus on what you're doing in that way. So let's see what the universe is saying here. And King of Cups first, you have no support. 5 of Cups first, you want grief. Exactly. So when you have no support and you want grief, that's how it goes, Scorpio. And grief is not a very good feeling, but the way this is, that's what it's going to be. If you're having grief about having bad luck, if you're having grief about, want to take action, whatever it is, that's what it is. But maybe you have grief because you have no support, Scorpio. And that's what is going to happen, okay? So let's see. And let's see. One more reading to go. And this reading is Mercury in Pisces. Ooh, let's see what's going on for you, Pisces. Let's see. For this all signs reading for July 24th to July 26th of 2026. So let's see what's going on. And let's see. And we have the Taurus over that you want transformation, and the nine wands reverse, there's no fear. So you want transformation, alright. But the way this is, Pisces, you're focusing about having no fear. Alright. So let's see what's going on. And the King of Pentacles service, there's no prosperity about money. Obviously, that's how it's going to be in that way, Pisces, and that's how it's going to be. Now, you focus on that ability, no matter how the outcome is, okay? Now, the outcome, we'll see what's going on through this wonderful reading, but let me go from the middle to the right, middle to left. The Hierophant is already, you want guidance. 10 Swords, you want conclusions. King of Swords, you want knowledge. Page of Swords, no education. Hermit is already their solitude. Maybe you're looking for a soulmate. 10 Pentacles, no wealth. Exactly. Moon reverse, there's no misrotations. The 10 of Cups, there's completion. Exactly. So you're focusing on another Libra, or you're focusing on completion, want knowledge, all these conclusions. That's how it is. But when you're focusing about having no wealth, right, no money at all, whatever it is, you need to focus on that. Maybe you're focusing about having a soulmate, maybe you're focusing about what's happening in that way, Pisces, because the way how this is, if you focus on that, and you focus, alright, I need to do it, that's what's going to be. So let me go from the middle and the right side, left side, please. 3 Pentacles, you want excitement. 9 wands, there's fear. Okay. Six of Pentacles first, there's no kindness. Okay, so you're being rude and disrespectful. Huh. 2 1 3 1 planning. Yeah, because you're going to plan on, if you're acting to be mean, rude, disrespectful, it's not going to work. But you focus about what's happening, right? You're saying, well, I don't like this anymore. Then quit it, right? So if you focus about having fear, having completion, having, planning, whatever it is, you're focused on that. But when you act like that, the Six of Pentacles does say that it means that when it's reversed, you're being rude, you're being disrespectful. That's how it's going to be. And, Pisces, understand that. So let's see what the universe is going to say here. Let's see. The universe is saying observation. Okay? You're going to observe on what you're doing in that way, Pisces. Observation is a wonderful feeling, but that's what it's going to be. And you focus on that. You focus about having that observation, and that's what you're going through. Observation is a good way, but that's how it is. Okay? So when you focus on that, Pisces, you're going to do it in that way. In a wonderful perspective, no matter if you're feeling rude or, disrespectful, whatever it is, you need to observe what you're doing. Right? And that's what's going to be. So, the way how this is, if you focus on that, you focus on that. And you need to understand that. You need to believe, you need to behave, you need to observe. And that's what this all sign reading is. You have to focus on that. You have to focus about observation. And that's a good word to say. So, the way how this is, you focus on that. And this is how it goes. So, I hope you understand this wonderful reading, this all signs reading. And, this is what it's going to be. And you focus on that. You focus on what's happening in that way. And you have to be efficient, and that's how it is. So, you need to understand. You need to focus on that dignity, self-respect, but that's what the reading is. And all signs reading is it's a wonderful feeling, but you need to understand that. You need to focus on that. You need to, every single sign, no matter if it's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, you need to focus on what you're doing. And that's what the universe is saying. So, I hope you all like this video. Please give a like. Please hit a comment. Enjoy. And so sorry about my me coughing earlier. Sorry about that. But the way this is, I can't help it when I'm coughing. And, I don't want to choke and what have you. So, you need to understand, and you have to understand what I'm going to say, and that's what this all signs reading is. So, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to all, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's how it goes. And you need to understand that, and you have to focus. So, and there's a good saying is go with the flow. Thank you, and bye for now. Thanks, and